We might actually set up a studio one of these days, or like with a backdrop or whatever, or something like that, but not today. So today was a very good day because I had a new tool show up, UPS, at the office today, and I'll be making a video about it this weekend, which it'll be out probably next Sunday. But it's something I've always wanted, and we're going to test it out. We're going to use it. We're going to beat the hell out of it and see if it works. You know, but it's something I found at PRI last December, and it's really cool. I mean, it came in a big box today. The other thing is that I just put up a video. Okay. First thing I want to say, okay, if you guys have bought t-shirts today, the company that we use, Spring, that we use to make send t-shirts out, they're having a 15% off sale today, okay, till midnight tonight. So if you guys want a t-shirt, you can get 15% off today, okay? So just there'll be a link. It'll be rolling underneath the live, and I'll put it on the redo whenever I'll from tonight, when I edit it a little bit and I put it back out. But the t-shirts are 15% off today and today only. So you can get your t-shirt for a little bit of a break. Other than that, the one thing that I wanted to talk about today, question?
No.
Okay. One thing I want to talk about today is like, I come up with the idea of, if you had the money, would you buy a set of double humps heads, or would you buy something, say like AFR's new 195 200cc street heads, aluminum street heads? Which do you think has the better numbers? Flow wise, CFM, down the ports, making power. Which do you think is better, the old school double hump heads or the new technology, the AFR's 195 street heads? Which do you think flows more air?
Double pumps.
Okay, see that paper right there by you? Hand me that piece of paper. All right, I looked it up. I looked it up online.
AFR.
Yes. Okay. So here's the numbers. Okay. I looked it up and I wrote it all down. Okay. So double humps from the factory with the same intake port size as the AFR 195s, which AFR just came out with 200s. I don't think they're on the market yet, but they're coming out with 200s. But for the same intake port, double humps do 202 CFM at 500s lift, which is half an inch lift, which I usually run about a 480 lift. Cam, which is what I like, you know, Lenati, you know, Crane, Comp, they all had those back there, but, you know, a 280 duration, 480 lift. Okay. So for a 500 lift, a double hump from the factory flowed 202 CFM intake and 141 CFM exhaust. Okay. That was from the factory, completely, you know, buy off the showroom floor, 1969. Okay, now the new, not the 200s, but the 195 AFR aluminum street heads. They run 275 CFM at half an inch lift and 213 CFM exhaust, which is about 30% more on the exhaust side and about 20% more on the intake side. Question?
No, Presley's calling me.
Who is?
Presley.
Oh, we're going to take a break. Presley's calling. Anyway, so daughter-in-law's calling. She's got gallbladder issues right now. Oh, she's calling about the live? She's calling about this?
Oh, it's on the TV then.
Okay. She was calling to let us know that she wasn't getting the feed.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay. But anyways, So by the numbers, AFR, the new AFR, the new technology, 50 years newer technology, flows 20% more on the intake and 30% more on the exhaust, which that's technology, you know. I mean, you know, double humps are cool. Double hump heads are cool. Everybody, you know, you go to a car show and you see that little boom, boom, you know, on the end of the head, you know, when you're looking at it and you go, you know what that is as soon as you see it. Every car guy knows what those little humps with no accessory holes is, you know. You know it's a double hump head. You know, that's the head that they put on the hot setups back in the day. But it's 50-year-old technology. You know, now I get the whole, when you are doing numbers matching concourse, you want something to be like a museum piece, like when it rolled off the showroom floor. I get that, you know, but for today, the honest truth, if I'm ever going to get enough money to be able to afford them, I'm going to be buying 8FRs, Brodix, Edelbrocks, aluminum heads, because they're just, they have worked all the bugs out over 50 years. Okay. They're just better now. And where you're having to source pieces, just tell me if we got a question. If you're having to source pieces like cores for like double hump heads, every old timer in the world knows what a double hump head is, and you're going to pay dearly for just a core that you have to put a lot of money in to deck, surface, valve job, new hardware, new springs, locks, retainers, you know, work the valves, where like a new one out of the box, you just basically take it out, wipe it down, and you put it on, and everything on it's brand new and better technically than the old stuff. I mean, even just the weight of valves these days is so much more, because, you know, they weren't thinking about that. They were thinking about longevity. And when you think about it lasting, even though it's a performance car, when you think about things lasting, you have to make some sacrifices, which means you got to make them hardy. You got to make them stout and strong, which creates weight in the valve train. And the weight in the valve train is the killer of RPM range. Any questions?
No. Hillbilly says, dang, I'm too old for this stuff. LOL. Jason Oxley says, hello, Uncle Buck.
Hello, Jason.
Huh?
There's Hillbilly. I've been wanting to tell you, I've been watching your stuff, and you are getting better. I mean, with the sound and everything, and thumbnails, you start working the thumbnails. It's really coming along. You're going to hit something's going to hit in your content, and you're going to just explode. I have this feeling in my heart that everything is going to start working for you. Just keep plugging. Don't change what you're doing. Just keep learning. Keep making your videos. And just like me, it took 3 years for mine, but you will hit, and it'll be a game changer for you and your family and your wife and grandkids, the whole 9 yards. So just keep it up. You're doing great.
Jason says, took a beat run and she's backfiring through the exhaust.
Jason Oxley?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, she's backfiring through the exhaust? That's a little bit of timing. Or pull the valve covers and run the valves, which, yes, I'm going to make that video this weekend. I'm going to pull the valve covers, get some cardboard out, and I'm going to run the valves on a lamp and make a video about how to do it. When it's backfiring through this, it's because it's backfiring a little bit. I can hear it. So I'll just give a little pump through the headers. I can hear it. So I got a valve that's a little bit off, so I need to run them just to smooth it out a little bit and then reset the carburetor again. But yeah, no, I'm going to make that video this weekend.
He says, when I give her a boot full, she backfires.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I need to run the valves. And double check your timing. But I'll go through the whole thing. I'm going to do it this weekend, and I'm going to pull the valve covers on this one and get the stool out. Because, you know, a truck, you know, and we're gonna run the valves on it, and I'm gonna do the whole thing, start to finish, resetting the carburetor, double checking the time and everything after the fact, just so it's tuned up and it's running as smooth and as well as possible.
Michael Scanlon says, so the Mustang's going to be hot. It's going to be pink, right?
No, Michael, the Mustang's not going to be pink. She wants midnight metallic blue. She wants it to shine in the sunshine, and she wants a dark, deep, nice dark blue.
Yep. And Kenny's already got ideas about it. So, but anyway, Jason says Holly's 750 bowls are too full. I think it's in the sight glass.
Halfway. I don't know if you got a new one like I got on this one, which they redesigned them. You know, they put sight glasses on instead of you pulling the plugs out and checking it that way. You're doing the whole fender bounce, which I really like. The new Hollies with the sight glass. Halfway is standard. You know, back in the day, ours was you set them by. You got them just the edge where they're starting to spill out, and you give the fender a little bounce. And if it spewed out as it was bouncing, you were set right. But with the sight glasses, like I think they got the idea from Demon, because you know Demon when they first come out in the late 90s, early 2000s, and they had sight plugs. They had glass sight plugs, so you could see where the level was without having to spill stuff, which I love on that new 750.
Jason Griffin says, are 416 heads good on a 305?
It depends on the intake runner. It depends on if you. I don't know exactly just off the top of my head what a 416 is. If it's a small chambered head or if it's a large chamber head, what size the valves are, with it and what it's going to do for compression ratio. There's a lot of variables involved. I don't know exactly what that just off the top of my head. I would have to look over my books and tell you exactly what it is, whether it's good or not. But yep, we're going to do that on a Bam Lam this weekend. Still trying to find somebody to do a front end alignment on it. Glad to have it back in the garage. We got the side job done, and that helped out a bunch. You guys know that my concrete guy is on vacation till the 1st of September, so we're at a standstill with the shop. But I got a video coming out Sunday about I had a company send me a new battery-powered tire inflator, a heavy-duty one, and it is banging good. I mean, I've had a lot of, where you have to plug them in the cigarette lighter, and have just like 10 foot of cord, and you're trying to reach, something that's low when you're out in the middle of nowhere. This thing is battery powered. It's standalone. It's an inflator. It'll do up to 160 PSI, and you just set it and hit the button, and it does all the work. What you set it to, like 32 pounds at 31, it does. When you prepay at a gas pump, it goes 31.1, 31.2, 31.3. It charges it right all the way up to right to it, but then it makes sure that it doesn't over charge the tire. It's really awesome. And that video is coming out Sunday. And I highly recommend it. I got that in a bag. It comes with a little carry bag. It's in my daily, along with all the toolkit in the daily, and it's awesome. I can't believe how well it works. I mean, it's just basically a set it and hit the button and forget it, and it stops at whatever you set it at. And it's one of the coolest tire inflators, I've ever had and ever messed with. And it's battery powered. There's no plugging it into the cigarette lighter. It just, you set it and forget it. And I played with it for an hour in the garage, and I probably aired up 4 tires on it, and it's still at 100%. I mean, it's really a dynamite product. It's really cool, but it'll be out Sunday at noon. But I have a even better one. that I just came in the box today. That's going to be a good one, and I'll tell you about that next weekend once I get everything done. But you're going to really like this one.
Okay, old school hot rodder. Put them on a 1999 305. The 416 heads are from early to mid 80s. From what I heard, I don't know anything about them either.
Okay, now there's two kinds of small block heads. They're the ones that have a, like, where they bolt up to the block, like right here. Okay, see right here where it's solid. Now there's two kinds of heads. There's the heavy duty ones like this that were produced that are solid, and then there's some that have little cutouts every other like this to save weight. They're the weight saver 305s, 350s and stuff from the mid 80s on. Okay, but really, honest, truly, for what you want, you got to figure out what the compression ratio it might affect your compression ratio for the chamber size. Okay, so the smaller the chamber, the more compression you get. The larger the chamber, the 78 cc or 76 cc or the 64 cc. 78 cc are smog heads. 64 cc's are the 60 stuff. So, but basically, like anything else, engine is just a big air pump. So the bigger the port going in and the better the exhaust port coming out, the more power it's going to make. Doesn't matter what the cubic inch is. As long as it's flowing good air, it's going to make good power. It's just a matter of finding the right thing for your combination.
Okay, 85% heads flows is 288, 296, 634, 640 lift, good for a 496 BBC.
Big block Chevy. Okay, read that to me one more time.
85% heads flow is 288, 296, 634.
Is that a roller cam?
Lift for a good 496.
496, big block? Yeah, you can't really, I mean, big blocks make good lower end power no matter what. The more you can make it breathe on the top end. Yeah, I on the race car, we had that kind of a cam on the race car, but it was flat tappet. It was a 284, 296 exhaust, higher lift on the exhaust, but it was a flat tap. It wasn't a roller. But that's kind of my jam. I am heavy on the exhaust because I just feel like big blocks, small blocks, if you don't have enough room to move it out after the hit, then it kind of spoils the intake charge coming in on the next round. So the better it scavenges out on the backside, the more power you can make on the front side.
Roller.
It is a roller, yeah.
Okay. G-Body says, "What's up, Uncle Buck?"
What's up?
Let's see. Dave's Garage says, "Scalp light, weight smog heads."
Did you look up the numbers, Dave, for the other gentleman? Because my phone is sitting on the tripod right now, so I ain't got no way of looking it up. But so a smog head, which means it's going to be a lighter casting. Doesn't mean they can't be worked a little bit. You got a die grinder, you got a Dremel tool. You can play with it a little bit. I mean, I ported my first set of big block heads with a Dremel. Took a long time, but I was a teenager, had nothing else to do, so I just spent hours and hours and hours out in the garage porting a set of big block heads with a Dremel tool. That was interesting.
Jason says, Griffin says, "Thanks for the information. Just trying to figure out if a 500 CFM carb would be better fit on this SBC 305. It's currently has a 650 CFM."
Now the 650, is it vacuum secondary or is it mechanical secondary? Because really, honest, truly, 305s love 600 CFM vacuum secondaries. Because the vacuum secondary gives it, when you flog into it,
Vacuum.
it's a vacuum, 650 vacuum. Spread bore? because I don't remember Holly ever making a 650 vacuum secondary that wasn't a spread bore. Is it a spread bore? Let me know.
What do you think about the LS engine? I'm thinking about swapping my G bodies.
Okay. The more I dive into this pool, the more I'm okay. LS1 from the junkyard. It's got 200,000 miles on it. It still has the bottom end to handle 1,000 horsepower, run after run after run. That's why they're so popular. They are with the way the block is designed. They make power. Even just carburetor, they make power. They'll handle a lot because they're made loose from the factory to make them last a long time. But they burn oil. But I can't not give kudos to the LS families or the LT4 families or whatever, because when you can take a junkyard motor and put it in something, you're gonna buy brackets and adapters and all that kind of stuff, but it'll take you put turbo on it or a supercharger and it'll take 1,000 horsepower all day long. There ain't a small block out there, a first gen small block out there that would do that without work and spending. Okay, but it's all just what you're into. That's the whole thing. I ain't got nothing to get LS motors. I mean, when they first come out, I knew when they first come out that they were going to be a game changer for the industry. They legitimately are bad to the bone. I mean, just naturally aspirated, put a carburetor on them with a little bit of a thing. But the thing is, mechanical to me is easier because if something goes out, it's a $15 fix or a $10 fix. Something goes out on LS, it's not that cheap. It's sensors and it's this and it's that and it's plugging in an OBS scanner and it's all a matter of what you're into. But I got nothing to get to LS platform. It's a dynamite platform. I mean, GM really did their homework and they hit a home run. But to an old fart like me, I'm going to stick with my big blocks and small blocks. Now, that's not saying I won't ever build an LS. I've got lots of friends around here that do them. But right now, I got a stockpile. I found a new honey hole. With the guy's got a dozen small blocks and some big block parts and all transmissions everywhere. It's sitting being grown up, and we made a deal, and we're going to go in the fall once it cools off, and I'm gonna be yanking stuff, and I'm gonna take you guys along with it because I found a honey hole when it comes to old school small blocks.
Dave says they're scalp lightweight heads that come on high output 305s.
Okay, high output 305s. Now, if you have a die grinder, if you have like the die grinder that I have, the electric one I have, it's like $25 at Harbor Freight. Okay, and and a couple of sets of bits. It's amazing what you can do just for a couple of hours of just cleaning up runners and making them smooth and polish them out a little bit, and yeah, there ain't nothing wrong. 305, 307, 287, 289 is Ford, I think. Anyways, I mean, there's nothing wrong with them. They're peppy. The smaller cubic inch engines are really peppy. They don't make any power low like torque, but if you got a 4-speed or a 5-speed behind a 305 or a 307, they're a lot of fun. They're a lot of fun.
Jason Griffin says it's not a Holly. I don't really know much about it. It has no name. Pretty sure it was a China carb from Amazon. I didn't put it on. Jason Edwards says in the shop bleeding brakes.
Not my favorite thing to do. Bleeding brakes. It's a necessary evil, but it's not my favorite thing to do. I'm since my son got a job at a dealership. He's working a lot of hours, okay, and he's tired. And he was my partner when it comes to brake bleeding because he's really good. He's absolutely excellent at suspensions and steering and brakes and that sort of thing. That's his jam. I'm an engine builder and transmission guy and drive shaft, that sort of thing. But he's working a lot of hours, and he's tired when he gets home. And I'm gonna probably buy one of those where you can do it by yourself and hook the air hose to it and bolt it onto the master cylinder and bleed brakes that way. I'm gonna have to learn how to do it myself because he's got 2 babies at home, then a wife and a new house, and he's working a lot of hours, and my building partner is going to be busy for a while until he gets his new routine down.
Okay, G-Buddy says, I have a 305 stock in my Grand Prix. What can I do to juice her up a little? I have a Holly 650.
Okay. I got a video, 10 things to do to make your more power. It's the way I did it back in my day, back 30 years ago, back in the 80s, was the first thing you did was an intake, better breathing in. Next thing you did was exhaust, headers with dual exhaust, better breathing out. A motor is just an air pump. The more efficient you can make it coming in and the more efficient you can make it out, the more power you make without changing anything else. The biggest bang for your buck, straight up, is an intake that breathes better, a carburetor that breathes better, and a exhaust system that lets it out better. That's going to be the biggest bang for your buck straight out of the gate. After that, then it's just building motors and things like that, rear end, gear ratios, things like that. But straight up, just for fun, intake and exhaust is your best bet.
Jason Edwards says he never had luck with those.
With what?
I'm guessing the bleeding brakes thing that you're talking about.
Well, I mean, Dave's on here. Uncle Dave, he has one. He does it himself. I mean, I'm pretty sure he can teach me how to do it because, there's ways of doing it. It's just a matter of figuring it out.
They're good for a mild. Dave says they're good for a mild street build and have decent bottom and end torque, but don't like high RPM because of the small valves. I'm thinking that what I had on the 67 Chevelle with the 327 I traded you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, no, they're good for, smaller valve heads that don't flow a lot of air. They're good for lower end, but they're not good for wrapping up and getting up there in the upper RPM range because they just don't flow good. They're just restricted because of the smaller valves. World Products makes a 305 head. I think they still make them that were like whenever the 3rd gen Camaros were out with the 305s, the high output 305s, the cross rams, the crossfire 305s. Then World Products came out with a street 305 performer head. It's just a matter of, like I said, it's airflow. An engine is just an air pump. If you can get it more efficient coming in and more efficient going out, you're going to make more power. It's going to be a lot more fun.
G-Body says, I have a Flowmaster. It turns down, no headers yet. Jason Edwards says, brake bleeders.
Brake bleeders, yeah. Now, I'm as old school as they come. I remember when Flowmaster first came out, and Flowmasters still to this day are built like skid plates. The Borla stuff and the aftermarket stuff and the Temu stuff. Don't get me started on Temu, okay? Because they're stealing everything. But this is getting Flowmasters. I got 40 series sitting on the frame that's outside, and they're getting reused because I love the way Flowmasters sound. I have Flowmasters on the drag car because at one time the local tracks required mufflers for the street class, And so I had Flowmasters with dumps. I mean, as short as I could make them, but there's something about what Flowmasters sound. They're just awesome. You know, I mean, I know you guys have heard the Mustangs and all the truck cars these days. They come with the borderless stuff and the aftermarket stuff, and they're real tingy. They pop and crack and everything. They don't sound deep and powerful. They sound wimpy, like a stock engine with just an exhaust system on it that pops and cracks. It doesn't sound good. It just doesn't. You can hear them. You can hear them coming from a mile away, but they don't sound like they're powerful. They sound really wimpy instead of deep, guttural, muscular sound from your exhaust.
Fadeaway says, I'm putting a 305 Chevy in a 1953 New Yorker, but the drive shaft going to be a pain. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, no, I mean, I got a really good, I'm lucky. There's a really nice drive shaft shop. They do everything from industrial to street. And they had me one built for the last truck in a day. I mean, and I took them the stuff and the measurements, and it was great. Yeah, drive shaft is just one of those necessary evils. It just is. I mean, but it's doable, very doable. I mean, come on. We don't build these things to be on a schedule or basically a budget, or I do it on a budget. But I mean, it is. You pick your battles. Time to time. You getting warm?
A little bit. Let's see here. G Body says I have a Flowmaster on it. Turns down, no headers yet. Breeders. G Body says Orkham. Let's see.
Progression, time to time. Like I said, I have a video out there that's 10 things you can do to make your performance better. I mean, it's on my list. You can look it up. It goes step by step. And that's just the things that I did back in the day and to this day to, make them a lot more fun to drive.
Petra says 40 series are awesome.
40 series are awesome. I love them. I love them since they came out. I mean, it's Flowmasters have always been my jam.
Okay. Holiday says, how do I get a shirt just like the one you have on?
What size you wear?
And Jason Griffin says, they sound wimpy and the emission crap make them smell like hair salon.
Okay. Now, here's the thing. I just caught it online today that Trump's EPA has pulled back all the regulations on gas-powered and diesel-powered vehicles about emissions, about all the stuff that they've been banging guys on aftermarket exhaust systems and deleting this and deleting that, So a brightness might be happening for all of us, okay? Here in Oklahoma, they don't really give a turkey. They really don't. I mean, I have never been pulled over for modified exhaust. East Coast, West Coast, that's a whole different story. But here in the middle of the world, I've never been pulled over for modified exhaust. Even with Flowmasters, even with open headers running down the street, never been pulled over. It hadn't happened. Okay, but the regulations have been removed, so it's a great thing for all of us hot rodders out there. It's a really good thing.
Jason says Indiana isn't strict either.
Yeah. Now they're bird dogging on window tint now. That's their new thing, but I think that's about to be messed with too. But honest truth, the older I get, the worse my eyes get, the less I want to get my windows tinted. It looks cool, and I got tinted windows on the Tow Pig, But on the Bama Lamb, I don't know if I'll tint the windows or not. The back windows are tinted, but the sides and the aren't. It's good for protecting your interior, but I mean, I get the whole where you can't see anything in, and you're a police officer doing a traffic stop, and you can't see inside that cab and see what's going on when you're walking up on it. I get that, okay, but we never thought about it that way back in the day. In the 80s, we went 30%, 20% on the back windows, 30% on the sides, where you couldn't see a freaking thing when you're standing next to it, inside of it, and we didn't care because it looked great.
Patriot says hydraulic flat tap cam break-in, really necessary to use lighter valves, springs, or special 1.3 break-in rockers just to break in.
Never done the 1.3s.
Or is that overkill?
It's okay. Here's the deal. Okay. Modern flat tappet lifters are shit. I'm going to say it straight up. They're all made in China. Okay. I had an hour-long conversation with Howard from Howard's Cams at PRI in December. Okay. And his advice was buy a roller because you cannot guarantee the quality of what you're buying as lifter. Now, I have 2 sets of AC Delco lifters over here in the closet. Okay, I bought them. They're $200 a set. Okay, I bought them because I know I'm going to be building some stuff. But those are by far the best on the market. I don't know how long they're going to last, but I've got 2 sets of them sitting there because they're original from back in the 80s before all the Chinese stuff came on. I wish I'd had taped the conversation I had with Howard. I really do, because it was so informative, because he had a chance. He didn't think about it back in the days. There was a guy that was selling out. There was 3 pallets of those lifters sitting on a pallet in a warehouse that he shouldn't have bought. He said, I could have bought those, repackaged them under my name, and made a mint right now because of the quality of the lifters. Okay, so I will put a link. Now, this one won't have a link underneath it, but when I get in there and edit, I will put a link on the one that goes out about 10 o'clock tonight. And I'll put a link for those lifters on Amazon. They're available on Amazon still. They're pricey, but it's either buy those and worry about ruining a cam, having to change bearings, and having to tear an engine apart for the bad quality lifters that are out there right now, because they're all Chinese. Everything comes from China right now, and they're not regulated and not good. The stuff that I'm buying online, whenever I get a couple extra bucks and I buy them, they're still AC Delco old from the factory. Okay, I'll have a link in the other video if you guys want them. They're pricey, but it isn't necessarily evil, but it's still cheaper for that price for those lifters as buying a roller and a retro roller cam and lifters and stuff. It's still cheaper, but they're the only lifters that I'll be using from this point on. I mean, I'm going to buy them as often as I can afford to buy them until they run out.
Russ says, hi, Christine. Uncle Buck, got my 305 back yesterday, but needs 900 in the machine shop work. Not yet, but getting the heads done.
I'm telling you, I get it. Okay, the equipment they have to have is expensive. Machine shop work is not cheap anymore. It just is not. Okay, but I get it, because they have to keep the lights on, they have to make a living, and they have to buy all the equipment to be able to do what they do for us. It is what it is. It's a necessary evil. That's why I try to find ways to cut corners and still have quality equipment and quality work done, but not have to spend as much money. That's the whole point of this channel, is trying to get it done on a budget because not all of us have, you know, bottomless pockets. None. I don't. I'm pretty sure most of you guys don't. I mean, you have to do a little bit of time to work it over years to get your dream project done. But I'm doing everything I can to try to figure it out. But I mean, even machine shops are getting scarce. I mean, where 30 years ago, there was probably 8 of them in my area. Now there's 2. And the third one is an hour away north. I mean, I just can't, it's getting hard. I mean, even thinking about like,
Jason says he buys most of his stuff on Marketplace.
Place is the way to go. It really is. I mean, do you guys even use Craigslist? I mean, I didn't even know they were still running. I mean, I haven't bought anything off Craigslist in forever, or even looked up Craigslist. I mean, when it first came out, it was cool, but now it's like Marketplace is the way to go. If you really want something, you can find it in your local area through Marketplace, if you're willing to spend. Now, selling on Marketplace is a whole different story because you're going to get tire kickers for days. But when you're buying stuff and you're going with money in your pocket and you're showing up, you know, that's a whole different story. I mean, you know, Marketplace can be a gold mine for cars, parts, different things you need.
Have you ever butt lifters in a 250 6-cylinder?
Nope. Nope. I don't have a lot of experience with straights. If it's a straight 6 or a V6, I did a 3.4 liter once in a 91 Camaro. I built it. I did a little work on it, ported some heads, did everything. It ran great. Sold it to a young kid that I worked with at my last big job. And I think he's still driving it to this day. He loves it. I mean, it was a V6 fuel injected, and I did work on the plenum. I did work on the heads. I did put headers on it, put exhaust system on it, Flowmaster, and he loves it. I think he still has it.
Are milling lifts Chinese?
Or what?
Milling, M-E-L-L.
Milling parts,
Lifters.
lifters. Everything is Chinese now. There isn't an American producer. The AC Delco ones that I'm going to put on the list, and they are old stock that's still in a warehouse somewhere for GM. I don't know how long it's going to last, but they're original equipment, hardened bottoms. I don't actually know where I got them in the closet, but I mean, I got them. I got 2 sets. And like I said, they're over $200 now because they're as good as you can get. I mean, it's peace of mind, you know. And like I said, with the honey hole I just found, I'm looking at least 6 small blocks. You know, 2-piece rear main seal small blocks. So I'm going to have a lot of builds. I'm going to have enough materials to make a huge amount of builds for the next 10 years. So, yeah. It's including transmissions and bits and pieces and parts and tins and, you know, the gentleman I met, he's not doing well health wise. So he's like, you know, I wanted to go to a good place. And the first thing he asked me was, are you buying it just to resell it? Or are you buying it to build stuff with? And I'm buying it to build stuff with. And I knew I'd met him before, but I didn't remember where I met him before, because I'm great with faces, terrible with the names. And we had met a long time ago. And the way he said to me, he says, I would rather this go to somebody that's going to use it for something good as opposed to just resell it. So come this fall, once it cools off, because he's just not doing well health-wise, there's going to be a lot of parts to show up around here. It's piles and piles of parts. Because
Yay.
what?
I said, yay.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, it is what we do. You've been dealing with me doing this for 35 years, honey.
Yeah, I know. Dave says retro roller cam and lifters for my 454 going in the 47 Plymouth business coupe is 1100. Haven't bit the bullet on that one yet.
Yeah.
LOL.
Yeah. So so if you retro a roller for the big block, it's 1100. For a small block, it's about 900, somewhere around there. Okay. So if I buy a cam from Summit for say $89 when on a sale, and I pay $200 for a set for a flat tappet, then I'm still $600, $700 cheaper than going retro roller. So I mean, I see it as a win-win. I mean, like I said, when I get a little extra, I'll buy another set, and I'm just going to put them in the closet, and I'm just going to hold on to them because it's money well spent.
Jason said just to save money, made my own race ramps. LOL.
Cool.
Have you ever purchased a balanced rotating assembly from Scat or Eagle and just slap it
I can't
in without taking it to the machine shop to make sure it was balanced for SBC?
now. Okay. I don't know if you guys watch the father-son team that has a machine shop in Illinois. They actually had a scat crank that had been bought and returned, and they bought it a second time, and they actually mic'd it out, and they had to turn it 1010. But Scat, and what was the other company?
Eagle.
Dynamite. They are dynamite. Now you need to ask them when you get on the tech line and call them up and ask them if you need special bearings for those crankshafts and those rods, because sometimes they're chamfered a little bit different. Sometimes the things might need specific bearings to make everything work right, as opposed to stock. But they're dynamite companies and they're dynamite products, and I mean, we're going to be going through all that over the next 5-10 years. We're going to be going through all of this kind of stuff. But I've dealt with them a bunch. I mean, like having a clearance of block for a 383 build, or 388 build, things like that, and like putting building 400s or building high 415s, 430s, cubic inch small blocks. I mean, there's a lot of things to have fun with on those. But that's part of doing what you do and loving what you love. And so, yeah, no, I got no problems with Eagle or Scat. None at all.
Chris says they're like a Chevy 292, 230, 6-cylinder.
Okay. So it's straight 6 Chevy. Okay.
Russ says, what's the price for a rebuild kit with forged pistons, small block, and what brand you prefer? Thank you.
Well, Russ, I got to say, I'm old school, TRW, but really the manufacturer, when it comes to pistons and rebuild kits and stuff like that, like through Summit or through Jegs, there really isn't any bad parts. It's just a matter of getting them all together and getting the right parts. If you're not running nitrous, you can run cast pistons. If you're not running supercharger, you can run cast pistons or hopper eutectics. If you're running nitrous, you got to run forged. You got to run a high ring gap because of the heat exchange from the nitrous, expand those rings. Because people always thought that the nitrous was blowing pistons up. No, the nitrous was expanding the rings, and the rings had nowhere to go. So that's what was breaking the pistons back in the day. And I'm getting warm. Okay, we're turning the air conditioner back on. Oh, it may get a little loud right now. Anyways, so it's getting a little warm in the shop. It is 100. It was 105 degrees here in Arkansas today, Oklahoma today. It's warm. We had a little bit of rain, but it didn't help.
Let's see. Oh, the quote says, "Let me know if you have an extra 350."
I'm gonna have come this winter. I'm gonna have a bunch. I'm gonna have to buy engine cradles or pallets or something just to stack them all in the corner, because I'm gonna have at least 6 this fall. At least, not including the ones I already have. I'm gonna, this gentleman has an 80-foot long shop that's full to the ceiling on shelves, motors, transmissions. And it's less than 5 minutes away from the house. And like I said, I met him before, but we had a 2-hour conversation, and it's going to be really interesting. There ain't nothing that's not for sale, for the right price. And I'm not proud of all my stuff. I'm not proud, I've never been that guy to hold on to stuff that's gonna get his price until the day he dies and his kids sell off for pennies on the dollar. I've never been that guy. If you come around my place with enough dollar bills, it's gonna leave. I've never been that guy to hold on to stuff. The way I look at it, if you need it, you wouldn't be showing up if you didn't need it for a build of some kind.
UNK, when there is a set year for trucks or cars that don't need smog because they're old, will the year go up trucks and cars as we getting okay. UNK, when there is a set year for trucks and cars that don't need smog because they're old, will the year go up on trucks and cars as we were getting to later years?
Okay, like this is where I live. I live on the Arkansas-Oklahoma border. I call it Arklahoma. I live on Oklahoma side, but but Arkansas is 5 miles away. Okay, in Fort Smith. Down here, there is no smog emissions. We don't even get inspected anymore. We're not living in California or New Jersey. It's not even a consideration. Okay, so my stuff, like I was saying with the EPA, cats ain't going back on, which that 80 model came with a catalytic converter on it originally. It's not going back on. It's just not. Okay, it's got headers. It's getting straight pipes into 40 series Flowmasters with dumps. That's what it's getting. Totally legal here in Oklahoma. Okay, ain't got that issue out here. As long as it's quiet, it doesn't, and it or it's loud and throaty like Flowmasters are. As long as it's not causing, security system in cars to go off, like you've seen in the movies. Police around here don't care. I'm friends with all of them. That's the great thing about living in the same area all your life. I can get away with murder.
Okay. Odie Roach says, but thinking of a manual swapping my truck 84 with the 350 and a TH350. Any idea on the best box for conversion? SM 465, NV 3500, T5, etc. Also, have you done one before?
No, I haven't officially done one, but I have the bell housing, the pedal assembly, everything sitting on the shelf in that closet. I'm going to put a 4 or 5 speed in a square body eventually, because I just think that would be just really fun. I want to put a 4-speed or 5-speed in a second-gen Camaro, which I've always wanted and never had. It's always been automatic. But if it was me, if I come across it, it could be a 5-speed. It'd be overdrive 5-speed, top loader, aluminum, you know, with because it'll bolt right up to the bell housing and all the stuff I have. You know, the standard stuff is becoming a thing of the past. I mean, everybody wants automatics. Even they don't even produce new cars with standards unless it's a special edition car, like a Corvette or Camaro that's specifically, you know, that way, or a Challenger, a Charger, or whatever. I mean, kids these days don't know how to drive standards. I took my driving test in a standard, which a lot of you guys did too. I mean, that was just growing up on the farm. You knew how to drive a standard because you were driving tractors. That was just, it was just natural. But no, I want to build a square body with a 5-speed. That, I think that would be just a ton of fun. You know, it really would be a lot of fun. I've always liked standards.
Chris said, I wish I was closer to, I'd help you get all the parts back to your place. Leopold says, I'll try to take the drive. Haha, I can always use a spare. OD Roach says, yeah, I got pulled over in Texas, straight pipe, and a cop said, hell yeah, no inspection. Also just popped down to HEB and paid the registration each year.
Yeah.
Let's see. Thankful to finally catch your live. Just got my 66 C10, and thanks for the content helping with the build.
I came across the 64 the other day that I was really looking close at on Marketplace, but I'm like, okay, she would kill me if I bring another one home right now. I need to get some done, maybe sold, you know. We were just watching a video about a guy on the old man's garage. He had 900 plus cars under roof.
Yeah, and they had it, they're all insured.
And they're all insured. 900 plus cars. You know, he'd been collecting since he was 15 years old, and he's in his 60s now. I'm like, I'm sorry, you know, let somebody else enjoy them, because a lot of this stuff had dust on it, but over 900 cars under roof. He was paying the store 900 plus cars. Not my deal. I mean, you know, nothing makes me happier than hitting the key on Bamalam and it fire right off. Nothing makes me happier. Just this one truck, you know, to say that with these hands, I built that, you know, bolt by bolt, piece by piece. This is me doing it. That's the fun for me. Not buying them and storing them and just looking at them. Not my thing.
Let's see here. Chris says, I have a 3 SM 465 4-speed to redo. And OD Rich says, do you have HEB in Oklahoma? No. We don't.
No, we don't.
Let's see here. Pete says, love your videos. I'm a small block Chevy guy.
Me too. I mean, now I like my big blocks, you know, but like small blocks is my jam. It was my first car, my second car. First car was a 69 Dodge Dart with a 318 Cheech and Chong special. Had it for 2 weeks and wrecked it. My brother-in-law still has the scar. But my second one was a 73 Monte Carlo, and that was what I cut my teeth on. That's what I learned on. And along with all my friends working on their trucks and stuff. So I'm a Chevy guy, true and true.
Okay, Brian says, pulled my valve covers on my 350 and noticed he had a roller rockers, and one was a regular rocker with no roller. Is that okay?
No, if you could buy one specific one, if you could find out what brand it was, that means that somewhere along the line, one of them broke, and they were just replaced it with the stock rocker arm. It really isn't going to hurt anything as long as it's still working, but that little bit of friction can be, 1, 2 horsepower, 3 horsepower. I mean, if it was me and I pulled valve covers and I found 1 out of 16 was like that, I would do everything I could to find the replacement for it so that it was all 16 roller rockers. That's just me.
Gordo says, how y'all doing? I recently bought a 82 C10 and I have a problem with the wipers. They won't shut off with the switch from the inside. Hopefully you have an idea what I could
Ground.
it could be. Thanks.
Ground. Double check your grounds. Make sure it's grounded. That would be, or the switch itself is gone. That's why I keep boxes full of all the old stuff that I pull out of the cars that I bring home, because when it comes to the square bodies electronically, it's going to be one of 3 things. It's going to be a broken wire or a bad connection. It's going to be a ground system problem, or it's going to be a switch problem. So you just got to work through the system network. Just make sure that all the wiring is good. There's nothing broke. Make sure the grounds are the lifeblood of a square body. Extra grounds make everything better. And then the other thing is the switch. It could be the switch just gone bad, and they're cheap. I mean, you get them at O'Reilly's, and they're under 10, 15 bucks.
OD Roach says, Brian, yeah, you should be fine. LOL.
Yep.
Leopold says, what's a good cam for my stock 350 to give it a little bump to sound good?
68 duration with 465 lift. That's big enough. That's just to the edge of not having enough vacuum to run your brakes and your heater system and everything else that runs off of vacuum. But a 268 duration or 270 duration will give you enough vacuum to run your brakes, run everything else on it, and it'll give you a little bit more thump. It'll give you a better bottom end and better top end. Like I said, an engine is just an air pump. The more efficient coming in, the more efficient going out, the better it runs with the camshaft.
Let's see here. Reflex says, I'm loving the 350 SB swap in the 66 C10. Lots of options.
Lots of options.
Yeah. And Holiday says, can you make a 82 C10 shirt?
82 what?
C10 shirt.
Okay. The one that we have out on the spring, that's like a 73 to 80 model or a 79 model. We can make another one. I mean, my daughter-in-law Presley, she's really good at that stuff. Oh, that brings up, tonight is the night. Spring, the t-shirts, they're running 15% off tonight only. So if you buy a t-shirt, you can get 15% off of the order tonight. So that's a biggie for tonight. So if you guys want a t-shirt, tonight's the night to order because you can save a little bit of money. The other thing is that help support the channel. I mean, like I said, we're building a new shop and everything, and gifts, anything you want to give, a super chat, whatever you want to do. Buy a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Huh?
It says yeah.
Yeah. Would be really appreciated. It really helps. Every penny helps. Okay? Just for the process of getting this all done and be able to bring content in.
Leopold says, Odie says, Leopold, I have a Summit 785 and it's great. 450 lift, 273 duration, and a 106 LSA.
Lobe separation. Good cam. Really good cam. You should be able to run with the lobe separation, you should be able to run that cam and still run all your accessories on it through the vacuum. With the tighter lobe separation, creates more vacuum. So you can run a little bit more duration and still get that signal for your heater and for your brakes and everything.
Okay. And Russ says, I'm in 12th place, Uncle Buck. Just trying to move up in the standings, LOL.
What do you mean, Russ? 12th place? I didn't know we were doing a scoring system.
But 9:15.
What time is it?
9:15.
Wow, it's already been an hour and 15 minutes. Well, we started a little late. I'm sorry about that.
Lipo says I have a 77 square with a 327 40 over and the 350 in my 69 Camaro.
Nice. My first engine build was a 327 block that I punched out 60 because it was already 30, and it lasted 9 years. I mean, it was a great engine. 327s, 350s. You know, I would love to find a honey hole with 400s, but they're getting really scarce these days.
OD Roach says my brakes work great still, but it's a borderline cam and a borderline torque converter. Sounds nasty, but it needs higher compression.
Well, if you got the money, find a set of heads with a smaller, you know, more a smaller ratio on the combustion chamber. Go for a 64 or 59 cc, or you can order them that way, which it's just a bolt-in go, and it'll raise your compression ratio. But I've always been a pump gas guy. I never, you know, I have a couple of gas stations that are within 10 miles that sell, you know, high octane gas. You know, it's pricey, but I've always been just a pump gas guy. And so as much power as you can make on the street.
Odie says I have higher.
Vortex heads until you hit, then you got to get machine work done. But I mean, again, like with LS's, Vortex was GM figured out a better mousetrap, okay, with the Vortex, and they're great heads, and they work good, they flow good, they make good power, you know. But I mean, you have to like modify them extensively to get them to work on like a first gen engine block, and you got to buy special intake. You got to, you know, there is always, you know, I'm simplicity is if make it as simple as possible. But since we're over an hour, Christina's getting antsy.
Get tired of sitting.
But just remember, if you guys want a t-shirt, now's the time to do it with the 50% off. It ends at midnight tonight. I think it's actually California time. So if you guys want it, grab a t-shirt. Think about supporting the channel, send in a gift, do whatever. I mean, every little bit helps. I appreciate all you guys. Did we just get a gift? Yep. Who is it?
OD Roach.
OD, love you, brother. I love you, brother. I appreciate it so much. But, you know, just keep coming. I look forward to this all week. I really do. I look forward to doing this all week long. I mean, I can make videos through the weekends and work on the turn wrenches, but I look forward to this every week, to doing this. Honest truth, if I could get all you guys in the same room, I think we could have a lot of beers and have a lot of good talks and have a lot of good times. I mean, it's just, I really do appreciate every single one of you guys. I really do. It just blows my mind. I'm just an old fuddy-duddy, old fart, you know, to just been playing with these things all my life. And for all you guys to show up just to have a talk, it just blows my mind. It really does. I'm so thankful for all of you guys. We're going to see you next Thursday. Y'all have a great day. Because great day today could be even better day tomorrow. Just like I've always said on everything I do. Any last questions before we turn this off? But like I said, if you want a little break, get your t-shirts now. Order your t-shirts now.
See you next week. Gonna be with the wife. Let's see. Brian said, to be honest with you, guys like you and Uncle Tony, I would be lost with this truck.
I love Uncle Tony. I mean, I'm hoping one of these days I get to actually meet him in person. Now I know he's, you know, half the country away on the East Coast, but I mean, for a guy that's been around the industry all the years, and he's so easy to listen to. I mean, you can spend 15, 30 minutes just watching this stuff because, you know, I'm really hoping to be able to meet him someday.
Okay. Everybody says good night and thank you.
Good night, everybody. We'll see you next Thursday. Y'all have a great week. Be safe and think up your questions for next week because I got something I'm going to show you next week. The thing that's in the box in the back of Bam right now, it's a big deal. It's one of the things I've always wanted. I saw them at PRI, and we're going to unbox it, and I'll tell you all about it next week. Put it on your calendar. Y'all be good.